You've definitely seen them online. The perfect students with those absolutely impossible routines. Well, today, we're going to pull back the curtain on that whole myth and talk about 5 real, actionable habits that actually make a difference. No superpowers required. Let's kick things off by looking at the routine we're all apparently supposed to be following.
You know the story. It goes something like this. Every morning, I wake up at 3 a.m., hours before anyone else. First, I run a marathon until my legs feel like they're about to collapse. Then, it's straight into a freezing cold shower. I'm talking so cold that icicles form on the shower head. After I lose all feeling in my fingers, I meditate on string theory while listening to Mozart's entire discography. Then, a quick breakfast of raw vegetables and water, all before 3:30 in the morning.
And of course, this is all a lie. I've never done that, and you don't have to either. Success isn't about punishment, it's about process. So let's talk about what actually works.
Okay, our first section is all about creating a solid foundation. This is where we'll cover our first 2 habits, which are really designed to build momentum and stop procrastination before it even gets a chance to start. Let's begin with that moment you walk in the door after school.
So, the first habit is building a deliberate after-school routine. We all face this choice when we get home. The easy path? That's the rabbit hole. You crash on the couch and suddenly hours have just vanished into your phone. The effective path, though, is the routine. Here, you intentionally take a timed break, you get your workspace ready, and then you begin. The goal isn't to just work immediately, but to create a system that removes all that friction that leads to procrastination.
But what if you're just exhausted? I get it, that's completely valid. The key isn't to force yourself to work. It's to be intentional with your break. So don't just say, oh, I'll take a little break. Set a timer for 15 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever. This is what prevents a short reset from turning into an endless scroll session. When that alarm goes off, it's time to start.
Habit number 2 is all about evenly distributing your workload. Look at this. Instead of cramming a 70-page reading into 2 super stressful days, you just read 5 pages a day. Instead of a frantic all-night session with 24 calculus problems, you do 8 per day. See? This isn't about avoiding the work, it's about eliminating that last-minute panic by turning these huge, overwhelming assignments into small, manageable daily steps.
Okay, so now we're going to move from scheduling and structure into something a little deeper, your mindset. The next 2 habits are all about how you think about your own learning and the opportunities that are all around you.
So let me ask you this. What happens when you get something wrong? When you just hit a wall and you simply don't know the answer? How you respond in this exact moment? Well, it's absolutely critical.
And this brings us right to habit number 3. You have to confront your knowledge gaps. The common reaction is to see a mistake on a test and just brush it off as a dumb mistake before moving on. Or maybe you're studying and you just skip over a term because it sounds, vaguely familiar. But a growth mindset is different. It's about actively engaging with what you don't know. You redo the problem, you trace your logic, and you figure out exactly where you went wrong. You stop and you look up that term until you truly, deeply understand it. Now, this whole process is harder. It feels uncomfortable because it's supposed to. That feeling of discomfort, that's the feeling of your brain literally building new connections. Think about it. If studying feels easy, you're probably just reviewing what you already know. But if you feel a little uncomfortable, that means you're genuinely learning something new.
The 4th habit is, it's more of a life philosophy, really. You have to get comfortable just asking for things. Because the best opportunities, I'm talking the ones that build a resume and teach you real skills, they're almost never posted on a bulletin board. There's no formal application. You have to create the opportunity yourself.
So what does that actually look like? Well, it means emailing a professor and asking about a research position. It means approaching the advisor for the school paper and asking if you can be the next editor-in-chief. It's all about identifying what you want, figuring out who you need to talk to, and then having the guts to actually go and ask for it. All right, our third and final section introduces our 5th habit. And this one is arguably the most important, because without it, none of the others are really sustainable. This is all about playing the long game and avoiding burnout. And the habit is so simple. Do something you genuinely enjoy every single day. Because if your entire life is just a grind, you will burn out. It's pretty much inevitable. This isn't about taking hours and hours off. It's about protecting your energy with small, daily acts of enjoyment that make all the hard work feel sustainable. And for anyone out there thinking, I just don't have the time, here's the reality. It doesn't have to be some huge commitment. We're talking 15 minutes a day.
Just 15 minutes dedicated to something that recharges you. Reading for fun, going for a quick walk, listening to an album that can completely change your outlook and actually make you more effective when you get back to work.
So let's just quickly recap our playbook here. We've totally moved past that mythical 3 a.m. routine, and we've landed on 5 practical habits you can actually start using to succeed.
Let's circle all the way back to where we started. The real takeaway here isn't that you need to work harder 24/7, it's that you need to work smarter. True, long-term success isn't about these superhuman bursts of effort. It's about building intelligent, consistent, and sustainable habits that carry you forward day after day.
So the only question left is this one. Looking at this playbook, the after-school routine, evening out your workload, confronting your mistakes, asking for opportunities, and taking time to recharge, which one of these will you start building tomorrow?